How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ruffled Reality, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today, guys, we're going to be doing a top 5 countdown of the top 5 best Pokemon MMORPGs out there. Now, before we get started with this list, guys, keep in mind this list is based on my own opinion, and I will be featuring different games here that I think are the best ones. Now, as you may know, there are games still being made. Some of these games are not completed. Some of these games are still in the making or in development, but they are playable somewhat to certain amounts of people. And for those who do not know what an MMORPG is, it's simply a Pokemon online game with a bunch of other people joining you and play together with you. So if you want to play with a friend, you can both register on the game's website, download the game and play together and see each other in the world, trade, battle each other, and do all that stuff, you know, simultaneously. And also there's a chat, you can trade, etc. All that stuff in one. So let's get started with number 5. So starting off this list at number 5 is going to be Pokemon Planet. Now, Pokemon Planet is a game that I'm a huge fan of. It actually has a really cool and just kind of like awesome art style, which kind of reminds you of Gen 5, but also uses kind of tile sets and kind of styles that are reminiscent to, you know, Gen 5 and stuff. So in general, it's a really beautiful looking game, to be frankly honest. It does look beautiful, it feels beautiful, and it actually runs pretty well. Now, the best part about this game, for anybody who has a bad PC that can't run very hard games like emulators and that sort of stuff, this game can actually be played in your browser. So that means you can essentially play this game in somewhere like in a school or something, because you'll be able to access it there. Now, like I said, the game looks beautiful. It is actually genuinely nice. You have the ability to have following Pokemon on you. There are constant bonuses being played on the servers that you play on, or rather the one server, I think. I'm not sure how many there are. I think there's only one. But there are constant bonuses, like world bonuses, so increased like XP by ×2 and stuff like that's going on. So there is stuff like that all the time. There's a beautiful chat. The actual UI is very clean and crisp. It's not too hard to understand. Very straightforward. You have a bag which you can keep your stuff in. You have stuff in there. You have, of course, a friends list which you can add people on. You, of course, also have yourself a achievement list which you can, you know, get different achievements for, and also I think you get a few rewards for that. You also, of course, have your trainer card which features your money, the badges you have, and apparently you can actually take on 4 generations worth of badges in this game, actually, so that's pretty cool. You also have your trainer level which you can increase by fishing and that sort of stuff. So there are actually like those sort of things, like farming type of things. You can also make yourself a guild, I think, or rather something in that manner, but you like kind of like a clan, so to say. But yeah, that exists, and also you can take on, of course, the Elite Four and stuff like that. So you have options which allow you to do fast battles or normal battles. If you want to have an auto scroll in the chat, disable battle music, show moves in and during battles and such. And in general, it's a great looking game. The UI again is just very clean and crisp. It's beautiful, and the game can be played in your browser, so it's very straightforward and it's very easy for most computers to handle. So a very straightforward game, very unique in its style. It does use a few resources from, you know, official Pokemon games, but in general, most of it is self-made, which I do appreciate. So let me know what you guys think about this game. If you want to play it, there's going to be a link down below. Let's go to number 4. So coming in on the next spot on the list, guys, is going to be Pokemon Revolution Online, which most of you probably know about, as it is probably the biggest Pokemon MMORPG out there at the time. I think there's one more game rivaling its size, but we'll talk about that later. Either way, let's get into Pokemon Revolution Online. Now, this game is pretty big. It's been in development since 2014, originally created by Shane, now being controlled by, I guess, other people, rather being worked on by other people at the moment. But either way, let's talk about Revolution Online. Now, this game is continuously being worked on, so it's not a game that's going to be ever really finished, quote-unquote. It's still going to be worked on over time, as Pokemon always evolves and gets bigger, and there are always new Pokemon being added in several generations and new battle styles, etc, etc, etc. You get the point. But either way, let's talk about Revolution Online itself. This game features Kanto, Johto, and Hoenn as of right now. I'm not sure if there's any more things added at the moment, as I haven't played the game in a while. But when it comes down to it, this game is bloody amazing. So first of all, it features, of course, the options of choosing server, which is really weird because not many games have that. So as for servers, you have the option of choosing between red, blue, and yellow, which is really nice, you know, callback to, you know, Generation 1 and stuff. Beautiful, love that. But so about the game itself. So the game has a art style that's pretty interesting. Now, as for the tile sets in the world itself, it is pretty much custom made. There are a few areas we can recognize a bit of the, you know, stuff they've used like as references to, but overall the actual sprites and stuff are mostly custom made, which is really nice. So the mapping's been done by themselves, which is beautiful, because when you see games, usually they tend to use other people's work and they tend to use like the official stuff, which is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that as long as it's transformative work. But these guys actually made most of the stuff themselves, and also they have a very unique style to their characters. Now, if I reference back to Pokemon Planet Online, as I mentioned there, the characters are custom made and, you know, their own little thing or whatever. Same thing goes in this game. In Revolution Online, your character is like a custom-made character. Doesn't look like something you'd find in like, you know, any previous Pokemon games. Though the only resemblance I'd give is that it looks slightly like the Gen 4 characters, which is my favorite, so I'm pretty hyped with that. I appreciate that. I do kind of appreciate it, and I like that a lot. So, in general, there is a resemblance to Gen 4, but other than that, they're custom, they're nice. You can actually customize your character by going to the cash shop in the game, where you can essentially just, you know, donate to the game or support them, which again, this is not necessary, this is just a side thing, but you can donate to them, support them, and then get access to specific stuff in the game, like etc. Stuff like, or rather as an example, stuff like mounts, stuff like shiny mounts, specific items that kind of give you a bit of, I guess, rather shiny boost, so you have a higher chance of finding a shiny, and stuff like that. Also clothing and stuff like that. I bought myself a Magma or Team Magma outfit, which I loved. So you have options like that, but they're not necessary, and they don't really change the gameplay whatsoever. They won't make it easier for you to defeat certain people than it would be for somebody else. So it doesn't actually change that aspect of the game. And the game isn't really competitive in a sense. It doesn't really have that competitive aspect to it, so I don't think it's really big of a deal if there are stuff like, you know, shiny boosts, which, you know, it's just an aesthetic thing. It just makes the game look more colorful or whatever. That's really the biggest deal there, but I don't find that to be an issue, to be freaking honest myself. But either way, other than that, the game has trading, the game has player battles, the game has, of course, the ability to look at other trainers and what they have. You have the ability of inspecting them and stuff like that. You'll also have the ability of taking on, of course, all the gyms and the Elite Four and such. The game is pretty awesome, to be frankly honest. I do like it. You have following Pokemon in this game as well, which is beautiful. Most of these fan games do have that, which is fantastic. I'm a huge fan of that. So, in general, it's pretty great. Now, what's really awesome about Pokemon Revolution Online is that this game can actually be played on your Android as well. So you can play this game on Windows, Mac, Android, Linux. And that's pretty crazy, you know what I mean? There's no other Pokemon MMORPG you can play on your Android. Now, I'm gonna discount any of those really bad ripoffs that you find from China or any of those places. Like, those ripoffs don't count, as they're just ripoffs, as just said. They're bootlegs that just reuse these assets from Pokemon Sun and Moon and those games, and essentially just rip them to make a quick cash and quick money off of it. But this game is different. This game was made with passion to it and actual love and care for Pokemon, which I do appreciate. So this game has a mobile version to it, which is awesome. It's the first of its kind. It was its first of its kind back in 2014 as well, and that sort of stuff. So I gotta give them major credit for that. I really do appreciate that. So let's go to the next one on the list. So coming in next is going to be Pokemon MMO 3D, and as you can hear from the name, it's pretty straightforward what this game is. Pokemon MMO 3D is a Pokemon 3D game that you get to play in, and it's pretty awesome. Now let's talk about the game and how it actually works. So, as mentioned, it's all in 3D, which means there are no 2D aspects like the previous two games we mentioned. It's all in 3D. And what's really awesome about this game is a few features. Now, first things first, the game itself doesn't really have a crazy good looking world. The 3D world is pretty lackluster in my opinion, which is still something they're working on, of course. They want to make sure that all the technical aspects of the game are working first before they focus on the aesthetics. So currently, in terms of aesthetics, the game isn't the best, though there are a few aesthetic parts that do kind of, I think are nice, and those aesthetics are specifically the fact that you can switch your character, or rather your trainer model, into different ones. You can switch from red to May and blue to May and green or whatever. You have a lot of different options for colors and stuff, which is pretty awesome. But beyond that, we also have the ability to essentially battle and teleport any way we want. So if we want to go to certain places, like let's say we want to go to Pewter City, instead of walking all the way to Pewter City, you actually teleport there. Now, the game lacks in any sort of story, any sort of like coherent, like actual red thread. There's no thread in the game. It's kind of just like get in, get a Pokemon, and grind as much as you can, and try to catch a bunch of the, largest and biggest Pokemon in the game. That's really the biggest point of this game. Just try to catch the biggest, hardest, and coolest stuff, which is really the biggest part of it. But there is one aspect that I love, and I think is the best about this game over any other in this list, and that is the combat in this game. So the combat is in 3D, but in a specific way. It isn't a normal Pokemon battle. It's actually not a strategy battle, but rather, it's a real-time battle. So you actually throw out your Pokemon and you become your Pokemon. You are the Pokemon, and you get to choose abilities, run around, and battle like a real Pokemon battle would actually work like. So if you think of normal Pokemon battles, it's a battle where essentially you choose your move, then you use your move, then the enemy uses their move, and it's based on stats who will be attacked faster. Well, in this game, it's different. In this game, you actually battle at the same time. There is no waiting for specific moves or whatever. You just have to wait for the cooldowns, of course, but other than that, you just kind of run around and do whatever the hell you want. You jump around, you pull moves, and all bunch of crazy stuff. It's fantastic. The battle system in this game is beyond any other, and that's what I think makes this game so good and why I have it on this list. It's bloody awesome. I love that aspect of it. It is freaking fantastic. So, other than that, what else do we have? Well, the game in itself features quite a few Pokemon, and you also have the ability of going and catching legendary Pokemon as well in certain caves and areas, but they tend to be pretty high level, so you would have to grind a lot before you're able to do such things, but you know, eventually you'll be able to. Though, I would want to say this, if the developer ever watches this, I love your game, but I would say one thing, please work on actually improving also the game world, so that we can't just teleport from wherever we are to Pewter City or, you know, Celadon City, whatever. I want to be able to actually experience some coherent sort of story over the course of time, so I can go from one place to another, and actually go from those places to each other, instead of just teleporting there, because it removes the kind of fun from the game if you're able to just jump from place to place. But the game has a pretty decent interface, which lets you go through and check your Pokemon's levels, when the next level is going to be coming, and that sort of stuff. It's pretty nice, it works really well, and I do appreciate that quite a lot, so I'm going to give a huge props for that, guys. I really do appreciate it, and I want to see where this game is going to go. It's still being developed as of right now, and I have talked to the developer. They're still working on it, and they're going to be adding more Pokemon eventually as well, which is awesome. So definitely check this game out. It's pretty darn awesome. I love it, and I want to see more progress, and I do really appreciate the work they're doing on it right now. So let's go to number 2. So coming in at number 2 is going to be a game that is very hard for me to put here, as it was my previous favorite game, but honestly, I just have to put it here right now, and it's Pokemon MMO, or PokeMMO rather. And PokeMMO has been a long-lasting game. It's been around for quite a long time right now, and I think this one and Pokemon Revolution Online are the ones who are kind of the rival games in terms of like amount of players, because I think they are the ones who have the most players respectively. So I've got to say, PokeMMO is definitely a game I love. It is a game that I've had a huge love for a long time. The game is bloody awesome. Now, compared to the other games on this list, this game does actually utilize official games to its advantage. Essentially, to play these games, you are required to get stuff like ROM hacks, or ROMs rather. So you have to get ROMs of, like, for example, Fire Red, Emerald, etc. And those are things that you have to, you know, get for, I guess, optional content, because previously the game was only Fire Red and Emerald, which was essentially that you could only play through the Fire Red gameplay of the game, and then the other version was like Emerald. But over time that's improved and that's changed. Now it's optional if you want to have the ROMs installed like Fire Red and Emerald, and stuff like as well as Heart Gold and Soul Silver are also optional because they're only visually needed, and the Fire Red and Emerald are only content-wise needed. But then we have something that's pretty interesting. They actually added Black and White recently, so now you have Unova in the game. So you have yourself Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, and Gen 5. Now, Gen 4, I'm not sure where actually that went in, you know, terms of where it is, but hopefully sometime in the future. But either way, so the game now features black and white sprites and those things in it. Now, what's really awesome about Pokemon MMO in itself is that the game itself is really weird. Like, it features a lot of the aspects from the previous games I mentioned: trading, battling, you know, against other players and such, events and that sort of stuff. It all exists in that, but in terms of aesthetics, it really just is main Pokemon games. Like, if you were to play Pokemon Emerald, but with a bunch of other people around you, like, you know, people that you know, it's pretty interesting and pretty cool to think about that. So I do like that aspect of it, but in general, this is a game that requires you to download a lot of things to get to it. It's not able to be downloaded straight from their website. You would have to actually go to those places to get those things, but I don't know, I think it's worth it. The game is beautiful, it has an awesome art style, and it looks bloody fantastic. And over the course of time, it's been upgraded and changed. Now they have, like I said, the Gen 5 style, which is, you know, different, and it's so weird now, but I love it. They also updated for a while to the Gen 4 style, but now that's been changed. In general, PokeMMO is a great game. It's kind of hard for me to describe it because it features most of the things that the other games feature as well, like a cash shop and that sort of stuff. You can actually get custom, you know, custom clothing and that sort of stuff to your character. In general, this is a game that's worth a try. It's definitely awesome, and I 100% recommend it. I love it, and I think it's worthwhile. So do check out PokeMMO, and you will definitely see what I mean. It's a game that's definitely worth trying out, and will be enjoyable for you 100% of the time. So do enjoy it, and let's go to the #1 spot. And drumroll, please. Coming in on the #1 spot is going to be Pokemon PokeOne, or PokeOne rather. PokeOne is the upcoming Pokemon MMORPG by the former developer of Pokemon Revolution Online. Not sure if Shane is working on that anymore, but your boy Shane has been making PokeOne, and Shane is bloody fantastic. PokeOne is a game that I have just fallen in love with. I've been streaming it consistently on my channel, so if you want to see some in-depth gameplay of how the game works like, just go to my channel and check out one of the many Pokemon streams that I've done, so you can see how the game kind of looks like and stuff. But this is a game that's kind of unique in its own style. Now, first of all, it's one in a kind, where it has a 3D style that almost looks like, it's kind of a weird like 2.5D sort of style, but it's in 3D. It's kind of weird, but I love it. And the ability to actually switch back to the 2D style right away. Now, as for the game itself, it does look reminiscent in terms of style to Pokemon Revolution Online, as it does use the same kind of aesthetics and stuff. But other than that, this game has so much more to it. First of all, I love the questing system in this game. It is bloody fantastic. Now, I forgot to mention in some of the previous ones that there are questing, and of course, there are achievements and stuff, but this game has a really cool questing system that kind of changes the story around for you slightly. Now, currently, the game features only Kanto, and of course, you have Johto being worked on, and in the future, they will add more stuff, you know what I mean, Hoenn, etc. But right now, they have Kanto done, and just a few bug fixes and that sort of stuff, you know, a few, like, extra fixes to be done to it. Johto is still being worked on, and in the future, I hope Hoenn and etc. Actually, I think they said they would skip Hoenn, and they would go directly to, I think, Sinnoh or Unova. I think Unova mainly, but not really the point. The point is, this game is awesome, okay? It is so freaking fantastic, and it features a one-in-a-kind co-op system where you can team up with 3 players, or rather 2 players and yourself. You team up essentially in a 3-man party, and in this 3-man party, you can go around and essentially raid stuff, or that's what I would want to call it, but that's essentially what it ends up being. You together, those 3 players of you, like you or you 3 rather, get together, you and 2 friends, and then you go around taking on gym leaders together, trainers, Pokemon battles, etc. You actually battle together, which is bloody insane. And those battles are literally done together, so you actually see your teammate next to you in your battle. So when you go into a battle, you'll see your teammate's 2 Pokemon, you'll choose which Pokemon you want to attack, and that's how it works. It's like a double battle or a free-for-all, that sort of stuff. But instead, you choose your target and such. So it's amazing. It's genuinely amazing. I don't know how else to describe it. It has an awesome co-op system. The game features, of course, a kind of cash shop, and also it features a mystery box system, which again is kind of like a mystery boxes, or you know, loot boxes rather, that you get over time, or you get from completing quests. They can also be bought. They're the kind of monetization system of the game that helps support servers and such. But other than that, the game is bloody fantastic. The loot boxes are also really nice because you get them all the time from just like playing the game, and also simply from just doing like simple things like defeating gym leaders, or completing simple quests and stuff, or just literally playing the game. Like I said, it's literally just play the game, you get the loot boxes, and they feature just minuscule stuff like potions and stuff, which just help you if you're in a really like bad situation, which they really did for me, as the game is pretty hard, and it will be even harder on release. So those extra potions, they will come in handy, trust me, they really will. And also you get a few you know, Poké Dollars and stuff on the sideline, and also you get the custom in-game currency, the currency that you would buy stuff like outfits and stuff. You get that for free from the boxes. I currently have enough to buy myself a mount or 2 or something like that, and also maybe could spend that money on an outfit or something instead. But also you get free items like outfits, hats, clothing and stuff from the loot boxes randomly. I've gotten several mounts. I've got an Absol mount. I got so many things from it. It's brilliant. I love it. It works well, and it's a loot system that actually, it really is nice. It's kind of just there. It doesn't really like take away from the gameplay or make the gameplay unplayable, because it doesn't really change anything in the game. It's very straightforward and very simple. So PokeOne is a game that I'm excited for. I'm hyped. Hopefully the game will feature even more stuff in the future. I've been talking to the developer. I freaking love the developers in this game. They're so well dedicated to this game and this project, and I really do appreciate that. It's going to be, in my opinion, the best Pokemon MMORPG out there once it's fully released. And I had such a hard time between choosing this and PokeMMO rather, because PokeMMO was my, you know, one-time or #1 favorite Pokemon game out there, or Pokemon MMORPG out there. I loved it, but I just had to put PokeOne here because I had just been loving it so much. But anyway, guys, that's going to be the end of the video, and before we just end this, I want to make sure to point this out. PokeOne is not able to be downloaded yet. The only way to get access to PokeOne is by simply joining their Discord and being active. There is no direct way of getting a link or a download. The game will be out sometime early this year, sometime I think before the end of May, it should be, or rather end of March, it should be out. So sometime this year, early this year, soon, it will be out. In a month or two, it should be out for everybody. But keep in mind, like I just said, the game is not out yet. The only way to get it currently is by joining their Discord and being active. So that's that. By the way, thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to drop a like down below, and I'll see you all in the next top 5 or top 10 video, whichever one I do. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out and have a great day, and bye-bye.